As you get ready for the season, is this kind of a weird time because you guys had all these preseason games, everything's going, and now you got to kind of put on the brakes and wait to the season. Are you ready to get going?
Yeah, I think this week is like the longest week of the year, just because guys are ready to roll, and the biggest thing about this week is making sure you don't take any steps back, making sure you're still approaching practice how you should, because it is kind of a trap week. You know what I mean? Like, you can take it as, we don't have a game this week, but we're taking it, we're attacking it, and we're going to be ready to roll next week.
Riley, you said earlier in camp you worked a lot on your kind of aggressiveness, you wanted to attack, and your strength a lot this offseason. What specifically did that look like for you? What you sat down and tried to improve as far as that part of your game?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was the weight room, right? Putting weight on, being more consistent with my diet in terms of protein, eating a good amount of food, because, that was the biggest thing I thought last year was, I was getting pushed off a lot at the point of attack, and now this year I've been working on, staying at the hip, working early, down the field, if they're running the fade ball, and then turning my head and trying to get the ball and get some takeaways.
Riley, what's one recovery thing that you swear by that has to be a part of your routine?
I get soft tissue every day, and it's not necessarily. It's not like a massage, but it's just kind of, it warms up the muscles a little bit. And then, I really like the ice bath, taking ice baths. I know there's new science out there that says, it's not as beneficial as they once said, but I think it works for me. So I swear by those things.
In terms of what you did kind of to add strength, how much of that was self-scouting and how much of that was coaches kind of guiding you? I kind of knew, watching my film and watching myself, I'm very critical about myself, and it's nice to have coaches also reiterating the same things that I was thinking. So it was kind of a team effort, both ways, myself and the coaching staff.
How do you look just at the overall depth of your secondary now that the roster is set? You added obviously Bufunga, Barron, etc.
Yeah, I love it. We got a good room, and just a bunch of guys that love football, and I think that's the most important thing, because that's how you have a team that's able to stay attacking every week and staying where we need to be at.
Riley, over the past couple of years, there's been a lot of talk of your inside, outside, safety. It's pretty clear you're outside now. Why are you so comfortable at that outside spot?
Yeah, I think just reps. That's kind of where I've always been at, and that was kind of my goal ever since I was a kid, was kind of, we're going to do this and whatever it takes. And so being fully bought in on the outside, not to say that I can't play inside, because there are situations where, the corner travels and I got to play inside. So being able to do everything, but making sure I was solidified and on the outside.
Riley, how different is this season for you going in as an established starter versus last year, coming off, your rookie year and just trying to find your footing, I guess?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing and something that I learned in college, after starting my freshman year was, I kind of got comfortable, right? I got the spot, and then, I end up having a couple bad games, and then, the spot's taken from you. So I think the biggest thing is not getting comfortable, and I'm glad I went through that in college. So now I know, where I'm at now is, you got to continue to attack every day and not get comfortable.
Riley, there's a lot of guys that didn't get a spot yesterday, and this is a close team. Did you reach out to anybody, or can you at this point, anybody that didn't make the team, to give them some words of encouragement?
Yeah, we have a group chat, all the DBs, so all the DBs who left, we all text in there and wish them good luck. And, it sucks. It's a hard day, and obviously losing a teammate, but also, not seeing your friends every day is the hardest part.
Riley, obviously, Freddie Reed made 53, undrafted guy. He's rookie, but he's a 25. What have you guys seen from him in camp as far as the IQ and that sort of thing?
Yeah, me and Brandon Jones talk when we watch our film, throughout camp. Who is this kid? He moves around really well, and he's smart. He understands the defense. He's 25 years old. Didn't realize he was 25. That's crazy. But moves around well, and I'm excited for him. It's really cool that he was able to make the team.
When you're in the regular season, obviously so much of what you do as a secondary is Pat travels with a guy or you sort of build around him. How much did it mean for you in the preseason, at that joint practice, you had Marvin Harrison Jr. a lot, just to be, you sort of play wherever, you guard whoever, and you end up on top guys a lot for your own development? preseason?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing in preseason too. Is like, like you said, during the season, Pat will go to the boundary or he'll follow a guy around, and us being able to play left or right, kind of opens up a lot for our defense, and then makes both of us better. I think being able to get reps against those guys, help me out.
Pat, yesterday about the confidence in you. How much does that encourage when you hear that guy talk about how he has confidence in you?
Yeah, it means everything, and I think the biggest thing is just coming in and doing what you got to do, and not making it bigger than it is, because sometimes it's hard. You hear you have a matchup. This week, let's say it's some stud. In your brain, naturally, and everyone on the outside is trying to make it a big deal, but being able to just stay level-headed, trust your training and stuff, I think that's the biggest thing. But I think that's really cool.
Riley, Demar Mathis got picked up on waivers by Carolina. How do you feel about him now getting another chance on a 53?
I'm excited for him. I love him, and he moves around great. He's a good football player, and I'm excited to see what he does.
Riley, you learned anything about yourself last year from a mental standpoint in terms of how you were able to either build on success or respond to some of those tough games you had?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is going out there with a clear mind and trust my training, not overthinking, not guessing, just playing football and trusting my speed, because there's little people out there that I think can run by me, and it's just being able to stay in my back pedal, trust my eyes, and go out there. So I think my biggest thing is just in practice trying to simulate game, put a little bit of pressure on myself, so when it comes to game time, it's a lot easier and smoother.